My name is Brandis Stratman for Costa Mesa Brief. We are here today in Irvine, California in front of John Wayne Airport covering a protest to change the name. Today we're going to talk to people and find out, was John Wayne a racist?
John Wayne has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! John Wayne has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! John Wayne has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! John Wayne has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho!
So why are we here today?
Well, we're here to protest the naming of this airport, John Wayne Airport. He was quoted to have been extremely racist, homophobic, and by having his name on this airport, it's glorifying him. It's saying that he's someone we want to approve of. We name things after him. That's a form of celebrating someone, of adorning someone, and that someone has significantly hurt both people of color and queer people like ourselves. And so we are here to say we want the name changed.
I'm here because I believe this is the right thing to do. John Wayne represents an Orange County of times gone by, a time in which I grew up, just across the border in LA County. But I remember the John Birch Society very clearly as a young teenager, and I also know that Wayne was a member of it. In fact, I had a copy of his interview. I wish I'd kept the magazine, but I read what he said, and he said it in black and white. I believe in white. I am a white supremacist, and that's just not the way to go. Orange County has changed. It's a place of vibrant multiculturalism. It no longer is the place where, as President Reagan once said, good Republicans go to die. It's a place where new Democrats are born.
I'm here as part of an overall effort throughout the country and here, especially in Orange County, to remove racist and homophobic namesakes and mascots from any institution, whether it be a public institution or a private institution. And John Wayne is the epitome of what should not be the first thing that people come to this county see, a known racist and homophobe. And I understand he's got a big fan base and all that, but none of that matters. You know, every time you hear the name John Wayne, people in marginalized communities know that he has an ugly past, and we just need to address it. And this is the moment in time when it needs to happen.
In Orange County, we don't have Confederate statues or monuments to historical abusers such as Christopher Columbus or Junipero Serra, but we do have that. An airport that was renamed after an actor who has made vile and racist remarks against blacks, Native Americans, and the gay community. But we cannot tie a rope around its name and pull it down like you can with a statue. And that is why we are here today to call in the Orange County Board of Supervisors to remove John Wayne's name and likeness from Orange County Airport.
God bless America!
Go away,
USA!
Go away, racist.
USA!
Black Lives Matter. Native Americans matter. LGBT matters.
I want to first thank everybody who's here, thank the Democratic Party for standing strong with our values. Black Lives Matter are part of our platform, and we've got to uplift it. I want to thank everybody again who's here, and I think we've got to grow this message loud and clear. People don't understand that John Wayne was a racist, that people that come, millions of people every single year, stop to this tourist destination and are greeted by a racist. That's not acceptable. This is not the Orange County that we are. Is that right? So it's time, past time, to talk about John Wayne and what truly represents. John Wayne was not the person he played on screen. He never served in the military. He wasn't a cowboy. He was a professed white supremacist. John Wayne said this to a reporter: "We can't all of a sudden get down on our knees and turn everything over to the leadership of the blacks. I believe in white supremacy until the blacks are educated to a point of responsibility. 5 or 10 generations ago, these people were slaves. Do you want these views to represent you? No. White supremacy does not represent us. It should not represent our international airport, our doorway to the world. Enough is enough. We waited a long time for change. When we called for John Wayne's airport, the name, to be removed, it sparked national and international debate. We received a whole lot of support and a lot of attacks from the right-wing conservatives. Even Donald Trump attacked us on Twitter. But you know you're on the right side of history when that's happening. Is that right? I am proud to use my voice to stand with you. Our movement is being heard. Yesterday, the University of Southern California announced that it will remove its permanent John Wayne exhibit. A new petition just started in Glendale to change the name of John Wayne's Performing Arts Center at the Unified School District. How about that?
I don't think there's anything I can add to what has been said. Mike and I wrote the original piece that appeared in Voice of OC, and I think it resonated with people in Orange County and around the United States because of the murder in cold blood of George Floyd, and that has brought about a racial reawakening in which the entire nation is beginning to re-examine the people we hold up as heroes. I won't recite all of the examples that are taking place, but it is completely across all sectors of society. Ironically, that does not include the Orange County Board of Supervisors, to our surprise. Now, I'll just cite for you just something that's occurred this week. But first, in preparation, I figured I'd go back and watch some John Wayne movies. And the one I watched this week was called Who Shot Liberty Valance? And in the middle of this movie, Jimmy Stewart gives this very poignant lecture about American government, in which he says what makes American government great is that the people rule and people in positions of power have to listen to what they have to say. Now, clearly this is a major issue. This issue has received more attention than the Orange County bankruptcy in 1994. Mike and I have received press inquiries from as far away as Spain and London and Washington and in diverse places like CNN and Fox News. Not because of who we are, but because the story and the symbolism is so important. So I ask you, if the people rule, when we went to the members of the board and we said, gee, we're not going to tell you what to do. We just want to discuss this issue on your next board meeting this Tuesday. Will you simply put it on so that we can have our moment to give you our reasons why we believe Orange County's John Wayne Airport should be simply returned to its earlier name, the Orange County Airport, which served it very well for 40 years, up until all the way up to 1979, from 1939. And the answer we got was, well, we're not going to do that.
Do you think this is only an issue because of the statues being removed? Is it connected?
It's hopeful that the takedown of the statues has brought this into public view, but it's always been an issue. Anytime you have somebody who says such public things in public is honored, it's disgraceful and hurtful to whatever group he's targeting.
Because Black Lives Matter! They will continue to matter. Use your voice today. Use your voice tomorrow. Use it until November 3rd when we vote. Because I am sick and tired of people who look like me causing all these goddamn problems. So keep going. Use
your voice until the very end, because it's you who's going to make the difference. I'm tired of being told by my family, by people of the Republican Party, to calm down. I'm done being called. And you should be too. So raise your fist and raise it high every day to stand for what you believe in. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what we need. So vote and continue to be here until you're exhausted, until your feet feel like failing, your knees give out, because that's when it finally matters. That's the moment of Providence right there, when it comes down to the wire. It works in sports, and it'll work in politics, I promise you that. Be better. Be the change you want to see. And leave this world, this nation of ours, better for our children and our grandchildren.
Here to support the Black Lives Matter cause and to change the name of John Wayne Airport. He might have been a wonderful actor. He might have had great presence on stage. That does not excuse the language that he used to completely put down and oppress multiple groups of people, whether they're black people, indigenous people, Native Americans. It's not okay. It might have been okay then, it might have been politically correct then. It's not now. It's 2020. It's time to change. Be the change we want to see. And changing the name of that airport right over there is the beginning of a change that we need to see in America.
What about all the good he did and the medals he's gotten?
Again, that does not excuse somebody for the terrible things that they said and the terrible things that they believe.
This is from an interview that he did for Playboy magazine in the 70s. But he said, we can't all of a sudden get down on our knees and turn everything over to the leadership of the blacks. I believe in white supremacy until the blacks are educated to a point of responsibility. I don't believe in giving authority and positions of leadership and judgment to irresponsible people. I don't feel guilty about the fact that 5 or 10 generations ago these people were slaves. I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from them. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves. Whoa. And then also he says, what happened between American Indians, forefathers, and our forefathers is so far back, right, wrong, or indifferent, that I don't see why we owe them anything. I don't know why the government should give them something that it wouldn't give me. We'll all be on a reservation soon if the socialists keep subsidizing groups like them with our tax money. And then he also is quoted saying, Midnight Cowboy, a story about two, and he says, and a word that starts with an F that's really condescending that I don't like to repeat to queer people like myself, qualifies. And so these are just some of the quotes from him that show that he clearly believed in white supremacy. He clearly did not see black people as educated, as smart as other white people. And he also had really negative opinions on queer people like ourselves. And we're just here saying that he should not have his name on an airport that we both fly out of all the time. And so we don't want to be adorning, celebrating, affirming any of those things. And by putting his name on this airport, that is what it's doing. It's saying we don't care that he said those things. We still think it's okay to celebrate him and to put him on a pedestal by naming this really important place after him. And so we're here to advocate for that change.
So his son was interviewed by CNN last year, and he said that that was an 8-hour interview, and if you read the transcripts, it's taken out of context.
Even if it's taken out of context, like how can you say...
I'm not sure what context would make that not racist.
Yeah. Seriously, like he's saying that black people aren't as educated as white people. He's saying that he's glad that we took land away from Native Americans. Like the U.S. has written 400 treaties with Native American tribes and has broken every single one of them. And he's endorsing that. He's endorsing that position. And like, yeah, his family could say that, but what context would make those things okay for anyone to say ever?
Now, in his use of the derogatory term for gay people, it was a more commonly used phrase back then. Should that be really held against him?
I mean,
yes.
I think that regardless of how common something was, like, it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't mean we should glorify it today. Just because owning slaves was once okay doesn't mean that we should glorify Confederate statues, which is why people are urging governments to take those down so often.
Because the thing is, at this time in history, which I studied history in school, like, there were also lots of people who said that was wrong still. And so it's like, even though it was more common than it is today, there have always been people saying that using those words, owning slaves, doing, like, pushing Native Americans off their land is wrong. There have always been people saying that. And those people have not been glorified. They have not had airports named after them. They have not had statues made of them. Instead, we've glorified the people who did those things, and we're trying to excuse those things today. But throughout all of history, there have always been people who have fought for human decency, who have fought for against name calling, against owning people, against pushing people off their land, and those are the people we should be naming important places after, not someone like this who may have taken it out of context or may have used a word that was used commonly at the time. Like, I don't care, you know? It's like he still said those things, and his name upholds those things. So.
No peace! No peace! No justice! No peace! Reform the racist police! No justice! No peace! 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 No justice!